In doing these talks, I've had a lot of emails from wonderful viewers who get in touch with me, and they very often say, Richard, I found out this bit of information, this going on, and here's a link to it. And then somebody else will send me something else with another bit of information, and it's a link to it. And you can imagine there's quite a lot of emails. A lot of people are fascinated to send me stuff, and they want to get in touch, and they like to have a response and a personal contact and all of that, which is great. The thing is, I'm curious where people get their news from. So this is a question. Where do you go? Who do you trust to give you the solid news? How do you know? I mean, there's plenty of YouTubers like myself and others, individuals. There's more bigger brands who have cameras and lights, and it feels like they're in a big, expensive studio. Of course, we know that the mainstream media is one source, and a lot of people obviously still go and think that that's the only source of legitimate information. And many of us might snigger at that because clearly there's plenty of other places. There's a lot of citizen journalism going on. There's also a lot of other journalists who probably wouldn't want to work in mainstream media these days because they would find their hands are very tied and they can't say what they want to say. In the UK, we have Ofcom, which is a government ombudsman. It's a body that would lean down and restrict a certain type of conversation, particularly in certain areas. And we've seen a lot of that recently. So a lot of the mainstream media over here, as most of my viewers will of course know, is very limited in what they can say, and complaints will go in if they stretch too far. Of course, on places like YouTube and other platforms, they all have their own terms and conditions, which is a bit like an ombudsman, only it's just the company's terms and conditions, and you have to be a bit careful of that. So you can't always say what you want to. You might allude to it, and some of us YouTubers have discovered that we've had to use a different language in a way to refer to certain things so we don't get chopped off. But I'm curious because I know my audience is very broad. I can see that from the emails I get. So in this video, it's just really an interesting plea to find out from you, the lovely viewer, where do you go? What do you recommend? It would be nice to have a little bit of a resource, really, because I know people are coming all the time. They're very curious about where stuff is. There are people in different stages of learning what's going on or suspecting things or a bit nervous. And sometimes you go to another platform and it's really bang, bang, bang in your face and you go, oh my God, I didn't realize it was all that. And other ones are a little bit more gentle. So maybe my lovely viewers watching this, you would be able to put in the comments some of the places, the resources that you find really useful, that you trust, that you think that they actually give a sense of what is truthful and what is going on in all sorts of different areas. I've just been questioning really a lot of things, and I have been finding out, but people think that I'm an authority on things, and I'm not really at all. I'm still at that very early stage of going, there's something a bit strange happening. I keep hearing about this and I keep hearing about that. I don't know what I'm going to do at the next election, for example. I don't even know if elections are worth taking part in. Should I just not bother to turn up, for example? Or should I maybe spoil my vote by saying none of the above? I'm a bit nervous about that. So we're all in this wilderness. You've got mainstream media giving you one side of the story, but then very often they're not telling you the whole thing. And then you've got a lot of scary stuff on other channels all over the place. So I thought it might be useful to try and get some sense, a broad spectrum, if you like, of different channels that most of my viewers would recommend. And then newbies coming to this channel might be able to look and go, oh, actually, look, more people are suggesting this. This one seems to be very good. And it's not such well, I was going to say a free-for-all, but it's not such a fight, because you know what it's like. You go on the internet and there's so many places and you don't know who's legitimate, who's not legitimate, who's saying something sensible, who's just spouting off the top of their head. Now, a lot of people might think that would be me, but I'm trying to be as moderate and as measured as I can to work out what's going on. So do leave them in the description. I would be very grateful, and enjoy. Thank you very much.